There's a moment in life when you realize it's not about doing more, pushing harder, or adding more weight to your already tired shoulders. It's about turning your attention inwards, as if the key to everything you've been searching for was sitting quietly inside you all along. Think about it. Every time you've forced yourself to run faster, work longer, or fix everything outside of you, what has happened? Maybe you've achieved something for a moment, but then the old feeling returns. The same patterns resurface, the same weight in your chest. And it's not because you're lazy or broken or unlucky. It's because reality doesn't bend under pressure. It bends under presence. Imagine your life like a garden. If you spend all your time rearranging the plants without tending to the soil, what will happen? The roots will keep growing in the same way, no matter how many times you trim the leaves. The real shift happens when you work on the soil, your inner world. And here's the strange, almost magical truth. When you shift the energy you hold within yourself, the world outside starts rearranging without you forcing it. This isn't wishful thinking. It's the way the mind and body communicate with reality. Every thought, every emotion, every subtle tension in your muscles is like a signal, a broadcast to the field around you, and the field always responds. If you've ever walked into a room and instantly felt the atmosphere, whether it was warm and welcoming or cold and tense, you already know this. You felt energy before words were spoken. Now imagine that on a larger scale. Your whole life is reading your energy in exactly the same way. The question is, what are you broadcasting? So many of us are trapped in loops, not because we don't want to change, but because we keep focusing on the wrong thing. We try to change the movie by touching the screen, when the real change happens in the projector. Your mind, your nervous system, your emotional patterns, that's the projector. And here's where the teachings of Dr. Joe Dispenza and so many ancient traditions before him give us something revolutionary. They remind us that change is not about chasing the future. It's about embodying the future now. If you keep thinking, feeling, and acting the way you always have, you are energetically voting for the same reality every single day. Your mind says, I want something different, but your body is still rehearsing the same past. It is like trying to get to a new city while driving the same circular road over and over. No matter how much you press the accelerator, you end up back where you started. The first step out of this loop is radical, and yet beautifully simple. You stop trying to change the world, and you start changing the way you meet it. That's where your power is. Pause for a moment and feel this. Every situation in your life, whether painful or beautiful, has passed through the filter of who you were in that moment. When you change the filter, the whole picture changes. And that's not just a theory. You've lived it before. Think of a time when you were in love, deeply inspired, or full of gratitude. Remember how the world seemed different. Colors brighter, people kinder, possibilities everywhere? The outer world didn't suddenly transform. You did, and because you did, reality reflected it back. The challenge is that most of us wait for life to give us a reason to feel that way. We wait for the promotion, the relationship, the opportunity. But in the quantum world, waiting is the opposite of creating. What would happen if you decided to feel abundant before the money arrived? Or feel loved before the relationship showed up? Or feel free before the circumstances changed? That's when you step into coherence, when your thoughts, emotions, and actions start vibrating on the same frequency. And when that happens, you stop sending a scrambled signal to the universe. You become a clear, powerful transmitter. I know this is where doubt can creep in. You might be thinking, but how can I feel something I don't see yet? It is not about pretending or lying to yourself. It is about tuning into the version of you who already exists in the field of possibility. Close your eyes for a second and picture yourself living the reality you long for. Notice how that version of you stands, breathes, speaks. That version of you is not in the future. It's here right now, waiting for you to tune in. And if you've been resonating so far, make sure you subscribe, because what we're about to dive into next will show you exactly how to start living from that version of you today, not someday. And here's the truth. Becoming the new you isn't about doing more. It's about becoming so aligned with the state you want to live in that doing becomes effortless. Think about the most magnetic people you've ever met. They don't try to be confident, they simply are. They don't try to convince you of their worth. You feel it. This is the level you're aiming for, where your energy speaks louder than your words, where your presence does the work before your actions even begin. And yes, it can feel strange at first, like wearing clothes that are slightly too big, or stepping into a room you don't feel you deserve to be in. But here is something to remember. Your nervous system is wired to protect you from the unknown, not to guide you toward your highest self. That's why so many people sabotage their breakthroughs. The moment the new timeline starts to open, the old self panics. This isn't safe, it whispers. Go back to what you know. And if you listen, you're right back where you started. But what if you didn't listen? What if you stayed in the discomfort long enough for it to turn into your new normal? This is the bridge most people never cross. The part where the old self dies and the new self is born. And here's the beautiful paradox. When you finally surrender into that unknown space, you realize it was never empty at all. It's filled with possibility, with versions of you you've never met, with opportunities that couldn't find you while you were still wearing your old frequency. So how do you hold this new state? How do you stop slipping back into the familiar? By living as if every single day, not faking it, but truly embodying it. If the new you wakes up grateful, you practice gratitude until it's as natural as breathing. If the new you values health, you make choices that honor your body. If the new you is abundant, you stop speaking the language of lack. Because here's the thing, reality is always listening. It's mirroring the energy you're broadcasting, moment by moment. If you're constantly telling the story of how things never work out for you, you're locking that in. If you're always noticing what's missing, you're amplifying that absence. But if you start telling the story of how everything is aligning, even before you see it, you begin to collapse the distance between the unseen and the seen. It's like tuning a radio. You can't hear the song on 94.7 if you're stuck on 89.1. The signal is already out there. You just haven't matched it yet. And when you do match it, when you fully step into that energetic alignment, life starts to feel less like a grind and more like a dance. Things just happen. The right people show up. The conversation you needed falls into your lap. The opportunity you thought would take years is suddenly right in front of you. Not because you forced it, but because you finally stopped pushing against the current and let yourself be carried by it. Now, here's where most people misunderstand manifestation. They think it's about getting what you want. But the truth is, it's about becoming who you are. The outer results are simply the byproduct of that inner shift. And when you understand that, you stop obsessing over when and how. You start trusting the unfolding. You realize that the gap between the old and the new isn't an obstacle. It's the space where your transformation is taking root. So here's my challenge for you. For the next 7 days, choose to live as if your new reality is already here. Not halfway. Not when it's convenient, but fully. Speak like it. Move like it. Think like it. And most importantly, feel like it. Notice how the world responds. Notice how your energy shifts. And remember, it's not about perfection. It's about persistence. Because at some point, you'll wake up and realize you don't have to try anymore. You are the new you, and the old you, just a memory, a version you've outgrown, like a skin you've shed. And maybe, just maybe, you will look back and realize the shift didn't happen in a single moment. It happened in every moment you chose alignment over fear, presence over distraction, and possibility over limitation. If this resonated with you, Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss the next transmission. Because what is coming next will take you even deeper into this journey of creating from the inside out. After all, your frequency is your future, and the moment you claim it, the future starts listening.